And here we go. Our next assignment, it's gonna take us a few days, but you're gonna start it today. What we're gonna do in Photoshop, you're gonna start the layout process for a magazine cover. You are gonna populate this magazine cover with your own ideas, with the title, with the headlines, all that kind of stuff, and your photo. Now we did this before. Do you guys remember this one? We did it with the food magazine. This time, I'm not going to give you a subject. It's going to be totally up to you what you want your cover to be about, and the photograph has to be your new photo that you take this week. Not an old one, but a new one that you actually go out and take for this cover. Okay? So we're going to go over this. I know you guys probably don't read magazines. It's kind of a dying industry. But there's good principles of design in here that you should know and you should understand, because it can help you out not just with this assignment, but in the future with how you design presentations in a job setting, in a professional setting. So let's talk about what makes a good magazine. Okay, first thing is called the masthead. This is usually the logo or the title of the magazine. This will be as big of a deal as the subject of the photograph. Okay? So on this magazine, Q, it's right here. It's huge. It's the size of her face, basically. It's over here in the corner. The other examples of magazines, you'll definitely see the masthead somewhere at the top. Again, bold, large. You're going to know it when you see it. Okay? Okay. All right. Now, another thing that you'll see is your main image. This is what you guys are going to take this week. Again, this can be about whatever subject you want it to be about. It anchors the feature headline. Feature headline we can see is right here. We have a picture of Adele, and we have her name right here. Now, what we have over on top of the headline is called a selling line, which denotes what the magazine is about and its main genre, right? So you got a selling line above the headline, okay? And you also have, let's see, we got a secondary feature. We have all of these other selling lines right here. We have a barcode. We even have an issue number. Most magazines want to tell you what issue they are, okay? Brendan, I need you off of your computer. I need you to look at the board. Thanks. All right, now this is a scanned image of a magazine cover, and you'll see the masthead right here behind Superman. You see the logo, see the tagline above it. You have a cover line right here for the main cover or the main story. We have other ones right over here and here. Again, another one. You can see masthead is huge, right behind Batman. Now, in order to do this, to have your figure above the logo, what did the designer have to do to their photograph after they shot it? You guys just did this last week. What tool do they have to do? Or they have to use? Yeah, the pen tool. So the photographer, designer, whoever it was, cut out Batman from his photograph so that they could put him on another layer above the logo. So you have your background, you have your shot back here, but on another layer you have Batman above it. Okay, that's the same thing right here. With Superman, with Lois Lane, they are above the logo. The only way to do this is to use that pen tool and to separate the figures from their backgrounds. Now today, what you guys are going to do is you are going to start to lay out your logo, whatever that title of the magazine is that you choose for that magazine. You are creating this on your own. So you're going to pick a font that works. Obviously, Vogue. This font for the Vogue masthead is their logo, but it wouldn't work with a font like Comic Sans, right? Like a handwritten font, it wouldn't work. This style works with this image. And also, this background. Notice how they're using negative space. Why did my projector just stop? That's not good. There we go. All right. So we have a lot of, this is called negative space, where there's just emptiness. Okay? That helps draw the eye towards the figure. If you're using a portrait for your magazine, definitely think about using a very blank kind of a background to really draw the eye where you want it to go onto your figure. Here's another one. All right, we got the masthead on top of the photo. Now, they are using, for this layer, the ESPN layer, they're using a layer blend mode, okay? Probably overlay, maybe multiply, so that they have a white ESPN, and what it's doing is it's interacting with the image behind it. They've also taken another picture of Einstein, right, and cut out his iconic, like where he's doing that thing with his tongue. They cut it out and put it over on top of Bill Belichick's face, right? Now, this is just two examples of how far magazines have come. This is actually a magazine from, I believe, the 1940s, okay? And this is a more modern magazine. You can see that people, our modern society, we want all of the stories, we want titles on here. It entices us to buy this magazine. So when you are designing yours, I want you to come up with little stories, little headlines that you can put along the edge or even bottom so that yours entices the reader to get that magazine as well. Again, this is a more modern magazine cover, Vanity Fair. Very particular font for their logo and their style. Lots of negative space, and what they're doing is they're filling that negative space with headlines and storylines. Again, blurry background, negative space right here. It's not distracting, and actually it draws your eye in towards Channing Tatum. Now, they've been very purposeful with putting in all of the type at the top. That's one way to do it. And keeping everything down here blank, again, so your eye is drawn towards the center. So I'm going to, again, post this YouTube video on our assignment. You could go back and look at all these different examples. Maybe base yours off of one of these, or you can actually go online and look at different styles of magazine covers, because today you're going to build yours. Now, these are actually magazine covers that students have done in the past. So these are not professional ones, but this is what I'm looking for. Bless you. Okay, so we got our masthead. We've got different stories, but let's be honest, masthead here is just a slightly bigger than these. Does that help or hurt? In my mind, it kind of hurts. Like, you want your masthead to be large, almost as large as the model, the main portrait on the top. And when you have your side little headlines over here and they're just almost just as big, your eye kind of wanders all the way around because it's not being drawn to a certain place. It's kind of being cluttered with all this extra information. And here's the opposite. This text is so small that it's hard to focus. Like, travel should have been enlarged right up here. And the text, these colors don't really work against that background. And it's so tiny. Again, these are examples of students' projects. So you can see what people have done, and you can go with your own. So what are we going to do today? Well, where I would start with drawing out, maybe on a blank sheet of paper. I can give you guys blank sheets of paper, your layout. And then in Photoshop, you can start to use your type tool, use your layer windows to create it on your own. We'll talk more and more about this as you guys are designing, but look at this. This is on top of the figure. This should not be like how to keep, no, this should be off to the side. Right here, this is distracting having it be on top of the photo. All right, so any questions? No? So let me show you guys in Photoshop how you guys are going to create this. So I'm going to open up Photoshop. I'll put it on on my monitor here. But a magazine cover is basically, it's 8.5 by 11 inches, okay? It's a sheet of paper. So when I'm creating a new file in Photoshop, let me get Photoshop over here. I'm going to go to File and New. I'm going to go to the print settings, and this is one of the print settings. It's automatically in there, 8.5 by 11, 300 dots per inch. RGB color, background contents white. I would say start with transparent background. Okay, and this is going to be for print, so we're going to make this CMYK. And that is the size file that I want you guys to create, these settings right here. Again, I'm going to post this on the assignment on Google Classroom as well as the video. And here we go. We have a blank file. You can draw out your ideas on a piece of paper, or you can just go straight into Photoshop and start designing. For your homework today, tomorrow night, I want you to bring back 5 pictures that you could use for your cover. 5, okay? The reason that I want you to bring 5, maybe a couple of them don't work when you finally get them in here, and then maybe a couple of them will. But if you just do one, I guarantee you you're not going to be happy, because something is going to get in the way and it's not going to look right. And you're going to regret not having those extras. So for your homework tonight, you're going to take 5 pictures that you could use for your magazine cover. All right? Okay, so let's get to it. Open up Photoshop, create your new file, and